The anticipation for Migos' Culture 3 is higher than ever. We are going through a ton of emotions. We're getting a load of snippets. We're hearing fire Offset verses. We're hearing Quavo hooks. There's breakups. There's a lot of different stuff. But we're finally getting Culture 3 and the season is approaching. Guys, welcome into the episode. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. We're trying to do this stuff and we're doing it on the daily. Baloo, take us through the rest of the episode, man, and let us know what we're talking about.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, at this point, the Migos have been quiet for a couple of years. They took their time off to drop their solo albums, to try to kind of recapture the essence of the first Culture. Just because, look, Culture 2 did have some great songs on it, but it just was not up to par to the first Culture. And now with this long break, people are wondering, like, where are the Migos? What have they gone through? Will they have a return to form? So that's the big narrative. And I feel like it will be really hard to kind of top an album like Culture just because that album really took over the hip-hop genre and really influenced a lot of trap artists just because they introduced that triple time flow. And, there's a lot of even artists outside of trap that were influenced by the way that they were rapping and kind of the chemistry they had as a group.
And guys, let us know if you think they're going to make a major comeback, because everyone's wondering right now. And based on the stuff that we've been hearing on social media, it sounds fantastic.
That Quavo snippet, man, blew me away.
Even the Offset snippet was super dangerous, and they're really marketing the Culture 3 vibe. So let's go through it. What would need to happen in order for Culture 3 to surpass Culture or even the previous one at that?
Man, I think to surpass Culture is like near impossible.
But let's say we had to put a criteria to it. Let's make a 5-step guide to passing Culture.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I would say definitely innovating. So bringing something new to the table just because that's what they had with Culture. So doing that, but even on a bigger scale somehow. And that will only see the influence of maybe a year after Culture 3 comes out. Another thing that they would need is to have a tighter track list, man. Culture 2 was way too long, so they got to come back to having a 13, 14 song track list where it's really focused and concentrated. Another thing that would need to happen would be to kind of make the members, I would say, alternate roles. So maybe have Takeoff on some hooks instead of just Quavo, having the hooks all the time. So really them playing with their entire skill set and showing why they're different. What would be the other two criteria that they would need?
I'm gonna go back to something else you said, and it was about the whole influence thing. Like that's where I think already, like, right there, there's a strike with it, because how are they gonna really top that, right? Like the Culture album really shaped their whole sound, and at this point, it's kind of like that was like their masterpiece, So like, that's why
they can go further than that. Man.
I know,
it's possible.
But like, what's really gonna go down, right? Like, what's gonna change in the style of rapping? What's gonna change? And you've heard the snippets, right? Like, we know what the album, like, we already know the sort of vibe that's gonna come with the album. It sounds all fantastic, but it doesn't sound like anything we haven't heard before. Another two things that would need to happen is more memorable features.
For sure.
On the first Culture, you had Travis Scott and Kelly Price. You had a 2 Chainz feature. You had
Gucci
a Gucci Mane
Slippery
feature. Even DJ Khaled opening up the album. Like, it was super grand. It was well calculated. And I would just say, like, I want to hear more Murda Beatz. That's
100%.
it. I want to hear more Murda Beatz. I think he's the best producer for them, and even at that, like, what is a Wheezy beat even going to do for them at this point, right? Like, I think if they're going to do this, they have to do it right, and I think that's what they've done, right? Like, we haven't heard the album, but again, I guess the reason why is because even if you look at how iconic the first Culture was, like, you had songs like T-Shirt and Bad and Boujee and Call Casting, Get Right With Ya, Kelly Price, Deads.
There was not a single miss.
There was nothing that really missed at that point, and all of those, the Get Right With Ya, and they all did fantastic, and they all had such a big commercial appeal. And that's the thing, is that, like, I don't even feel as if this Culture album is gonna have a Bad and Boujee, or it's gonna have a T-Shirt.
You don't know that, man. It's definitely possible. And what I'm hearing from that Quavo snippet sounds like it could be a serious hit.
Don't get my hopes up, man. You can't do that to me. I'm telling you, it's not gonna happen.
I'm telling you, man, they've been calculated, and I think that they're really gonna have a strong album. I think it'll definitely surpass Culture 2. And look, to be on the level of Culture, like I said, very few trap albums ever have been on that level.
Okay, so let me ask you something then. If you had to lock in a bet to Bet365 on if Migos are gonna, like, let's say $50,000. Migos are going to deliver another Bad and Boujee before this next album, like, as grand, as much influence, like, getting shouted out by, like, everyone in the industry type shit. You think they'll be able to create another song?
I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but it's very possible. Last thing I want to end off with for you, though, is when do you think this album is actually going to drop? Because the rollout is now in full effect. And by the time that this comes out, I think we're in the first week of April. And April 2nd is Quavo's birthday.
I like something that someone in the Discord said earlier today, and it was before May. I think that does make a lot of sense. I would say between the next couple of weeks, especially that they're starting to put out snippets now and everything, like people, they know the hype is on, and like they've just revived everything. And I think like also the Quavo and Saweetie thing could help with the marketing.
Yeah, it could, but I feel like I don't know why people are saying, oh, you know, we're going to get one of Quavo's best performances ever just because of the breakup. Fuck all that shit. You know what I mean? People
are super cheesy with that, bro. People wanted a second part to 808s just because of a divorce. Man, people are willing to latch on to anything. But guys, listen, thank you for coming into the content. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much, guys, for watching the episode. Listen, we got a lot of stuff going on here at NFR. You guys could join our community by joining our Discord chat. It's absolutely popping. The link is going to be in the bio, guys. And listen, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification tabs. We're doing daily content here at NFR Podcast. Thank you guys for sticking in, and I'll see you on the next one.